Dominik Mysterio lost the Intercontinental Championship to Penta. Finn Bálor directly caused it. Liv Morgan wasn't there. And after it happened, nothing. No confrontation, no explosion, no fallout. The WWE has a really bad habit of finally pulling the trigger at the worst possible time. If this is the start of the WrestleMania build, we have a problem. So now Finn and Dom will likely feud at WrestleMania without a title. So what does Finn get out of all this? Maybe a full face turn, maybe the return of the demon. And for supposedly being one half of the Bunny and Clyde couple, Liv Morgan was nowhere to be seen. Where was Little Miss Cry About It? I thought she sees everything and knows everything. For all the crowing about how she came back to put Judgment Day on top and how she single-handedly got Dom his Intercontinental Championship back, she wasn't there when Dom needed her to watch his back. I guess she was too busy cutting a promo about Stephanie Vaquer wrestling in flea-infested rings. Get ready for Rhea Ripley era version 2.0. People will say Dom is free to go on to bigger and better things. All I see is Dom in boyfriend and translator mode, and that era is now loading. And now, also, he's on a very familiar losing streak. So strap in, folks. It's gonna get nasty. We start off with the Raw walk-in. Dom shows up with Liv, JD, and Raquel. No Finn, no Roxanne. Even though Raquel lost, she's still all smiles and joking around with Finn, and my Jackwell heart is all happy. We will see Finn later on in the night, but it was just interesting to see Finn wasn't a part of the group. Next up, we have the Liv Morgan promo. It's a very slick promo. It's the one where she's in a chain link fence and all that. To quote from it, she says, "You don't know my struggles and you don't know what I had to do to get here. But one thing you're right about is that I am privileged. I'm sorry for signing with the WWE at 20 years old while you were rejected at your first tryout." And then she mentions flea-infested rings, yada. It's a fine speech. It was a nice promo. It does what it needed to do. But this promo is delivered way too early in the WrestleMania build. We still have 50 days. This is the type of promo I expect 2 weeks or maybe even less before WrestleMania. Not now. And once again, it's all talk and cackling from Liv. There's no meat to it. There's no substance. It's just her clapping back on what Stephanie said to her 2 weeks ago. And as we found out later, Stephanie didn't appear at all on Monday Night Raw. Judgment Day Clubhouse. Liv is playing darts with Raquel. Raquel is frustrated about not winning the Elimination Chamber. Liv suggests Raquel go after the Women's Intercontinental Championship because AJ pretty much called out the entire locker room earlier tonight. We then shift to Dom and JD. Dom is bugging out about his match with Penta. JD is trying to calm him down. Finn finally shows up and pops up. Jay asks him how he's doing. Finn says he's fine and he was pretty much okay with his loss. Dom immediately cuts him off and asks if he's going to help him later with Penta. Finn says Dom should be winning this on his own. Dom quickly pivots and says that he wants them out there so they can help him celebrate after he beats Penta. This segment ends with fist bumps and declarations of being a family. My notes from all this is that Liv is really trying to be slick and push Raquel towards another title. It's very interesting. It's still very annoying that Raquel still can't address what Liv did to her at the Royal Rumble. But at the very least, Raquel is showing frustration about her losses. So it is something. I'm switching it up and saying that he wants them at ringside to help celebrate his win instead of helping him win was funny. I like that switch up. That was really quick. Finn is taking a page out of the Damian Priest playbook by turning face by certainly being honorable. If you remember that build during the Liv Dom Summer 2024, Damian Priest was being all honorable about things. Finn is doing the same thing. I almost expect Dom to call Finn his deadbeat stepdad next week, if we get that far. Backstage, we have Scrap Daddy Adam Pearce, who gets interrupted by Danhausen. He awkwardly introduces him to Dom, Finn, and JD, who are walking backstage. They're going to get to the ring, and then Scrap Daddy bounces. Finn is welcoming. Dom and JD aren't having it. And then Danhausen curses Dom. My notes from this is that I still fully don't get Danhausen, and I'm saying that as someone who gets campy characters, because I love campy characters, but I just don't get Danhausen just yet. Finn continues to show face tendencies by being nice to him. So instead of laughing like he would have in the past, he's being nice. And finally, we have Dominik Mysterio versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship. Penta defeats Dom to win the title. It was a good match. Dom can really hoop against luchadors. I love Dom against luchadors. Dragon Lee, Penta, Vikingo, any luchador, Octagon Jr., Dom can hoop. I really love Dom against luchadors, so it's a good match. The finish comes when JD tries to help Dom. Finn stops JD. They argue, and then Penta takes them both out with a dive. Dom gets Penta set up in the 619 position, but Penta dodges that, and then he hits the Mexican Destroyer on Dom. 1, 2, 3, new champion. And my notes from this is that we probably should have seen this coming when Dom got cursed by Dan Hen. It was inevitable at that point. And to wrap things up, this is the bigger problem with what I have going on right now. If Finn is turning face, it's fine. But why cost Dom the title before WrestleMania? Now Finn has nothing to fight for except maybe just having a grudge match and possibly re-debuting the Demon. He has no championship, there's no power shift, there's no immediate fracture. The minimum we needed was Dom confronting Finn after the match. Dom, Finn, and JD should have been screaming at each other after the match. But instead, we got Penta celebrating. And then they rushed off to Roman and CM Punk's promo, which I didn't care about. The Judgment Day fracture drags on to another week when it's not needed. And I do not want to see Dom drifting into the comedy orbit with Danhausen. I'm having flashbacks to late 2023 when Dom and JD McDonagh were stuck dealing with R-Truth. If y'all remember that part of Judgment Day history, R-Truth was around the Judgment Day because they separated Rhea because they were pushing her face. So Rhea was separated from the Judgment Day, and Damian, Finn, JD, and Dom all had to do with R-Truth, and this is when Dom was started really having this really bad losing streak. So I'm getting flashbacks to that. I don't want that for Dom. Dom should be moving up the card after losing his title. If he's gonna lose the title, fine. I was expecting Dom to lose the title pretty soon. If it wasn't gonna be here, it was gonna be at WrestleMania. I have no problem with Dom losing the Intercontinental title because he's had it for a long time. But at this moment, Dom should be going up the card. He should not be dealing with Danhausen. If you want people dealing with Danhausen, there's other people that can be dealing with Danhausen. It's not comedy. And yes, Dom does well with comedy, but I don't want to see that for Dom. But right now, it's just looking like this is going to be the beginning of a Dom losing streak. This is looking like the beginning of Dom just going back into being a boyfriend for Liv and just being a translator for Liv. I'm just seeing Rhea Ripley era 2.0, and I'm not seeing anything around that unless something changes this coming up week. Because, to be honest, I'm not even seeing Dom win at WrestleMania. That's what I'm saying. This is going to be a start of a losing streak. And maybe that leads into Money in the Bank, but Money in the Bank is after SummerSlam this year. So we're going to be dealing with this for a few months at the latest if it continues this way. And I must have to address the elephant in the room, because I didn't really want to say it, but I got to say it now. Since Liv returned, Dom's booking has taken to shit. And like I said, this feels like Rhea Ripley era 2.0. Dom becomes emotional support. Dom becomes orbiting energy. Dom becomes secondary to what Liv is doing. People will say he's free now. All I'm seeing is a boyfriend and a translator. And if that's the direction, it's still going to be nasty. What's going to happen next week? Raquel is entering the gauntlet to determine a number one contender for AJ Lee's Intercontinental Championship. This could be big for her if she runs it strong. I'm of two minds of this. I don't want her losing. I don't want her running the gauntlet and only to lose in the end. And I'm not sure if I want her to run the gauntlet, win, and then lose to AJ Lee. But maybe running the gauntlet will help her out. As for Dom, we absolutely need fallout with Finn. Preferably with Finn getting kicked. Preferably with Finn eating a concerto. Like he did to Edge a couple of years ago. It's due. Also, Liv needs to be confronted, because she had an excuse 2 weeks ago because she was quote unquote sad about Stephanie reading her for filth. Now she has no excuse. And I really don't want to hear people talking about, but But JD and Finn were there. Yeah, but people were jumping all over Raquel and people were jumping all over Roxanne for not having Dom's back. So, if we're going to be calling out everybody like they were trying to do last year, we got to do it for Liv. She was there. She was fine. She got to get called out. If you're going to be calling out Finn and JD, mostly Finn, because he caused it. But if we're going to be calling people out, Liv need to be called out, because she's supposed to see everything. The eye is her symbol. You didn't see what Finn was going to do coming? You weren't there to watch your boyfriend's back? Where it was Bonnie and Clyde? Where was Natural Born Killers? If we're supposed to be this do-or-die couple, where was that out when Dom needed her? She was gone. So, there's no excuse. Either she was going to be there for Dom or she's not. And if you're going to be holding everybody else in Judgment Day to the same standard, Liv has to be held to the same standard. But all in all, if this is all intentional, if this is all building to something shocking, then fine. It's just going to suck, but it's fine. But if next week comes and we get more slow tension with no explosion, no Judgment Day fracture, no Judgment Day implosion, this isn't long-term storytelling. This is stalling. And that's a dangerous place to be 50 days before WrestleMania.